You'll always find reasons why it won't work. The human brain is incredibly adept at telling us why things will not be the way that we want them to be. We are excellent naysayers. We are great at figuring out reasons why things won't work. And if you always allow yourself to listen to that little voice, if you allow that seed of doubt to grow into a mighty oak tree, you will never get to where you want to go.
Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Human podcast. I'm your host, Paul Levitin. What do the happiest, healthiest humans all have in common? They are students of success. In my mission to help both you and I become the happiest, healthiest humans we can be, I have studied success at all levels. And after spending over a decade working in the field of human development and flourishing, I can tell you with certainty, success leaves clues. On this show, I investigate and explore the common clues and foundational principles that tie together success in all areas of life. Whether it's happiness, health, wealth, relationships, it's all a part of the human experience. By following these success clues and understanding the underlying success principles, you will find that success is not simply a possibility, it's guaranteed. Every Tuesday, I give you simple, straightforward action steps and tools using these clues and principles of success to help you become the happiest, healthiest human you can be.
Today's episode is all about developing certainty and creating clarity. This notion of certainty is extremely important when it comes to achieving any and every goal. Understand that the reason people don't ever achieve their goals is because of one thing. They are not consistent. I've spoken about this many times on this podcast already because that is everything. If you can continue to show up, if you can remain on track, if you can keep doing the work day in and day out, you will get the result. Once again, everything is the same. It does not matter if we're talking about relationships. It does not matter if we're talking about health or dieting or weight loss or muscle gain or building a business or training your dog or learning to draw or learning a new instrument. It literally doesn't matter. Consistency is the name of the game. If you do something long enough, put in enough effort, you will figure it out. Even when you do not do things correctly, purely putting enough time in will often be enough to get you at least part of the way there. Case in point, people who go to the gym and have no clue what they're doing, but do it consistently for years, will get results. There's no question about that. Now, will they get the same results as a bodybuilder or someone who does know what they're doing and someone who is putting in the right type of effort? Almost certainly not. However, they will get some results. They'll lose weight. They'll gain a little bit of strength or improve their cardiovascular more so than if they were just sitting on the couch because they were consistent. Everyone knows that person at the gym who just goes and does their same workout that they've been doing for the last 10 years and they just go on the treadmill, then they do this, then they do that, blah, 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 blah. Again, it might not be the most ideal, but they are getting benefit out of that purely out of consistency. Same thing with writing. Same thing with literally anything. Doing a thing consistently will garner results. Now, if we can do things consistently and well, that's when we get the real result that we're really looking for. So, what does consistency have to do with certainty? Actually, literally, everything. You see, the reason people are not consistent is because they are not certain. Certainty is knowing factually and believing that the effort that you are putting in right now is going to lead to a result. This is the thing that holds people back. Because if someone told you today, hey, if you do this every day for the next year, whatever it is, if you sit at your desk and type on this computer every day for the next year, I will guarantee you $1 million. They sign a contract, put it in writing, they show you the money, they have a briefcase full, they're like, this is yours in 1 year. You would do it because there's certainty that at the end of that effort, you will get the reward. And it doesn't matter what the effort is. It could be workouts. You could be someone who's never been able to stick to a workout routine. If someone holds $1 million in front of you and says, hey, all you have to do is work out every day for the next 365 days, and this will guaranteed be yours, you'll do it. 100% you'll do it. Because there's certainty. Because you know without hesitation, without any doubt, that that result will be yours. It allows you to be consistent and stay motivated. The problem becomes that's not how life works. We don't, in reality, have any guarantee that the result that we are looking for will actually come at the end of our effort. Even though we do know, we know understandably that if I work out for long enough, I will get the result I want. I'll get stronger or I'll lose weight. We know theoretically that if I work on my business for X amount of years, that I should find success in it. But because it is not literally guaranteed, set in stone, written like a legal binding contract, we don't have certainty. We have doubt. And when we have doubt, that is enough to destroy our consistency. It's very hard for us to push ourselves to continually show up and do something when we doubt that there is a point to it. All of the things that we want to do, that we want to get, come with struggle. I want to lose weight, but that takes the struggle of eating right and exercising. I want to be successful at my business, but that takes the struggle of working late nights and early mornings and skipping social events. I want to train my dog to stop barking, but that takes the struggle of training my dog and paying for obedience school and doing whatever else it takes to train a dog. I don't know. I want to have a healthy relationship with my significant other, but that takes the struggle of admitting that I'm wrong and going to couples therapy and working on my own past childhood things that I sometimes project onto them when we argue or whatever else. I'm not a therapist. The point is, that stuff is hard. And if, again, I had a guarantee that at the end of the hard stuff, I would get a positive reward, that's very easy for my brain to say, okay, I get it, I can do that. But since nothing in terms of results are literally guaranteed, they're all theoretically guaranteed, right? If I work on my relationship, I should have a better relationship, but it's not guaranteed. Plenty of people go to couples therapy and get a divorce. If I work on my business, I should find success, but it's not guaranteed because plenty of people work on their business and the business goes out of business or belly up or they lose everything. So it's a very hard bargain for my brain to accept. It does not like that. Our brain wants certainty, and yet we can never have certainty because we live in an uncertain world. This is a paradox, and it is at the root of just about all of our struggles in terms of personal growth, personal development, and living a healthier, happier life, which is why I think this topic is so important. We have inherently doubt and fear. Doubt that if I continue down this road, will I get the result that I think I will? We have to understand that doubt and certainty cannot exist in the same body at the same time. Listen to that again. Doubt and certainty cannot exist in the same body at the same time. I'm either doubtful or I'm certain. There is not both. And since you're not certain, that means you're full of doubt. And if you're full of doubt, you will figure out a way out of whatever you're trying to do. Doubt plants a seed that will grow into disruption. I'm working out every day this week, but I doubt that it's worth it. It's so hard. I'm sore. I'm tired. Is there even any point to this? I'm not losing any weight. I'm not gaining any muscle. Okay, screw it. I'm eating healthy and going grocery shopping and cooking for myself, but I can't keep this up forever. But I doubt that I'll be able to stay on this routine once summer comes. I don't know what's going to happen when I go to a barbecue. Okay, screw it. I can't keep up with this anyway. I'll just stop at McDonald's. Because of the doubt, I am uncertain. And when I'm uncertain, my brain, me, I say, well, this isn't worth it. My brain wants to live in certainty. It wants to be guaranteed a result. But again, we live in a world of uncertainty. Nothing is guaranteed. So how do we overcome this paradox? The thing is, people want to wait for success to be certain. How do I know this is going to work? Well, when it works, when it's already worked. I'll be certain, I'll commit fully when I see that it works, right? When I get the result, then I'll be able to be bought in and say, okay, I get it. Now I'm in. And yet, we can't get the result until we are fully bought in and committed. This is what holds you back. This is what holds me back. I'm talking about this right now because I literally just had a coaching call in my business coaching group. Once a week, they do what's called a business fundamentals call, where the whole group of us gets on a Zoom call and they talk about the fundamentals for everyone. And this is a group of business owners ranging from health and fitness professionals to real estate marketers to manifestation gurus and all other things, everyone working online businesses, people making from $10,000 to $100,000 a month and more. And the fundamentals remain the fundamentals because everything is the same. And my coach was talking about this exact issue as what holds us back in business, because if you're not certain, you won't commit. And it really fired me up because I find myself stuck in this same trap all the time. I know what I need to be doing to grow my business. I know what I need to be doing to grow this podcast. I feel that there is an immense amount of value in this podcast. I hope that if you're listening to this, you feel the same way. And yet, I'm not doing the things I need to do to promote it, to get it in front of more people, because I have uncertainty. Because I'm like, well, will that even work? Well, what happens if I do X, Y, and Z and I don't get any result out of it? And, maybe when my podcast grows a little and I have a bigger audience, then I'll know and then I'll do that. But it's completely backwards. It won't grow until I do what I need to do to grow it. But I don't want to do what I need to do until I've seen it grow. Same thing with exercise. Same thing with diet. I need to be committed to the long term to get results. But getting results is what gives me the motivation to commit to the long-term journey. So how do we get around this paradox? The two words that come to mind are trust and faith. They're the same in this context, whichever one you prefer. You need to trust or have faith that the result will come. If we are looking for 100% guaranteed certainty in the form of a legally binding contract, in the form of a guarantee, again, if you do this workout, I guarantee that you will get this result, does not work, does not exist. If someone is trying to sell you that, they're lying to you, because we cannot guarantee anything. So we have to have a level of trust, a level of faith that the work that we're going to put in is going to get that result, even if there is a chance that it won't. We need that because our brain will not allow us to continue on, to put in the effort, to put in the work, if it is filled with doubt. So we have to replace that doubt with trust, with faith. Sometimes, yes, blind trust or faith. This is why education is so important. What allows us to be more trusting, to have more faith? Feeling educated. If I go into something blind and I have no clue and someone's just like, yeah, do this diet and you'll lose a bunch of weight, and I've never heard of the diet, I've never heard of the person, I've never heard of anything about it, I'm going to be like, okay, that seems a little shady. I'm not going to trust it. However, if I educate myself around nutrition, if I understand calories, I understand macronutrients, I understand how to read nutrition labels, I understand the general concepts that surround nutrition. I'm not a nutrition expert, but I get it. I eat every day, so I should know the bare bones. And then I also am learning from someone who I respect, someone who constantly puts out good information, someone who I've learned from in the past. It's much easier for me to trust that person because I've built a solid base of education around the topic. That's why with this podcast, with my social media, with everything I'm doing, I seek to educate so much because that is the foundation that allows for certainty. Working in the gym for many years, I used to see all the time. People would come in for the first time into the gym. I would know it was their first day because I could see it in their face. There's that deer in the headlights look. I'm sure you've been there in the past too. And I knew that they had no clue what they were doing. They were so uncertain. They just looked so timid. They were just looking at machines like, I don't know. And more often than not, they wouldn't end up doing anything. Sometimes they would ask. Sometimes they would just fiddle around with machines. But almost always, they would just kind of turn around and like slunk out. Maybe they would go on the treadmill and walk or the elliptical or something like that. But the uncertainty was palpable because they weren't educated. If they had taken the time to hire a personal trainer, or to watch YouTube videos, or to read a textbook on exercise science, they would have known. There would have been far less uncertainty. They would have much more likely been able to trust and have faith in the process of, okay, if I start now, even though I'm weak, I'm going to gain muscle, I'm going to gain strength, which is going to allow me to work out harder, which is going to allow me to grow more muscle, which is going to allow my workouts to improve, which is going to allow me to get results 6 months to 8 months from now. But when you don't even understand any of that, when you don't understand how building muscle works, when you don't understand, well, how come that guy's lifting 100 pounds and I can only lift 5? If you don't understand the basic principles of exercise, of strength, of the human body, it's going to be much harder for you to create that level of trust for the result that may or may not come at some undisclosed time in the future. And, as I said, you can't have both. You can't have certainty, trust, faith, and doubt, and fear. You're only going to act on one of those things. You're going to trust that what you're doing is going to work and going to give you the results, or you're going to have doubt and fear that are going to overtake your brain and you're going to talk yourself out of it. Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard that strength training is helpful, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to work for me. Screw it. Oh, yeah, well, I've heard that, if I post on social media every day, that I'll build a good following, but my first 5 posts didn't do that well. Screw it. It's not worth my time. Oh, yeah, well, I know that some people tell me if I try to be more open with my feelings and talk to my significant other, that they'll reciprocate it and our relationship will flourish. But I don't know, it's really uncomfortable and that's hard, and screw it. You'll always find reasons why it won't work. The human brain is incredibly adept at telling us why things will not be the way that we want them to be. This is a safety mechanism at the end of the day. We have what's called a negativity bias. Negativity bias means we have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to pay more attention to negative things, for our brain to see things negatively. It was a safety mechanism as we were hunters and gatherers and evolving over all these years, because we had to know when we were in danger, right? If you're living on the safari in the savannah or something like that, and there's a tiger or a snake or something, you have to notice it right away and be able to run and be able to remember where that snake was so you don't go back there and whatever else. So we are predisposed towards negativity, towards being skeptical. Okay, like, I don't know, I don't trust that. We are excellent naysayers. We are great at figuring out reasons why things won't work. And if you always allow yourself to listen to that little voice of why things won't work, of why it's not going to be like you think it's going to be, of why the effort isn't worth it, if you allow that seed of doubt to grow into a mighty oak tree, you will never get to where you want to go. So, all that is to say that we need to be able to develop certainty, to create clarity in what we're doing, in the goals that we are seeking to achieve, the reason why, and to be able to justify putting in the effort, going through the struggle for the result that is theoretically going to come down the road. So, how do we get out of this stuck cycle and start to create certainty? Well, as with anything, we want to try to make it a habit, right? Doing something once, just listening to this podcast, yeah, it might give you a little bit of an idea of what to do, but if we want to have something to where it is ingrained in us, we want to make it as habitual as possible, because, again, this is stuff that's happening all the time subconsciously. So to just think about it once in a while is not going to be enough. We need this to be over and over. Certainty, certainty, certainty. Clarity, clarity, clarity. We need to be pushing out doubt all the time. We need to be increasing our trust all the time, because we are fighting against, as I just said, evolution. So here are a few steps that you can take in order to cultivate not just your certainty, but to create a habit of building certainty in your day-to-day life. So all of these things that I'm going to talk about right now are things that you must do consistently. Meaning, just doing this once at the end of this podcast doesn't do anything for you. Just saying it one time, just doing it one time, it doesn't help. We have to do this stuff consistently to create a habit. All right? So, number one, I need you to stand in your decision. Stand in your decision means you need to make a choice. Choose what the result is that you want. Be as specific as possible and stand with it. Meaning, I am going to grow this podcast to 100,000 listeners. That's it. That is my choice. It's specific, and that is my goal to work on. But it's not, I'm going to grow my podcast. Okay, but I'm also going to grow my social media. Okay, but I'm also going to write a book. Okay, but I'm also going to work out. Okay, but I'm also going to do this. You have to make a choice at a certain point. Yes, I can want to do all those things, and yes, you can have many goals. But for each goal, you have to choose what is the actual desired outcome that you want. And the more specific you can be, going back to episode 2 of this podcast about goal setting, we want specific goals. Choosing I'm going to eat healthy is ambiguous. It doesn't really mean anything. Choosing I am going to cut out X amount of carbs per day, or eat one salad every day as a replacement for one of my meals, or I am going to go grocery shopping every Friday so that I can make sure that I have the supplies needed, is a decision, right? So habit number 1 is stand in your decision. Make a choice and stand by it. And repeat this every day. Once again, this is about consistency. So once you make your decision, we go into step 2, which is look, see, or say your goals daily. Again, I've talked a lot on this podcast about affirmations. So when you choose to stand in your decision, write it down. Put it somewhere that you can see it. It needs to be real. And there needs to be an emotional connection. So it's not just I choose to eat healthy. It's I am choosing to go grocery shopping every Friday so that I can have the necessary supplies to eat in a way that is congruent with my goals, so that I can show up better and have more energy, so that I can live a longer, more full life and be more connected with my family and my kids. There has to be a reason. Again, going back to there is a struggle with every goal. So if the reason isn't big enough, we're not going to connect to it. We're not going to stay consistent with it. We're not going to be certain about it. Okay, like, oh yeah, like going grocery shopping, sure. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. But if I can connect that to an emotion, if I can connect that to the reason, to the why, going back to all the way to episode 1, connect the goal to your why, that makes it much more palpable and tangible. And again, it's not just say it, it's not just think it, it's see it. Literally write it down. I have sticky notes all over my room with affirmations that I stand and say every morning. I have a recording of affirmations that I listen to as I brush my teeth. I write down my affirmations in my journal when I do my morning journaling. I see them, I say them, I write them. It gives me certainty. Repetition, repetition, repetition. The next step in creating the habit of certainty, building this brick by brick, is to feel it. Again, I just said the emotion. Feel it through to the end. Meaning, visualize the end of the goal as if you've already achieved it. So it's one thing to have a goal of eating healthier and losing weight and being able to show up better for your family. That's great. Now, make it real by, again, visualizing the end goal. Sit and close your eyes. Think about what it will look like 6 months to a year from now if you are consistent, if you do cultivate this habit of certainty and you don't give up. What will your life be like? Think as if you have achieved it. Speak in the present tense. When I have created a podcast that reaches 100,000 listeners weekly, I will be affecting more lives. I change people's mindset. I help people live healthier, happier lives. This trains my brain to see the end goal so that when it doesn't have that literal, legally binding contract guarantee, this stands in its place. My brain is always looking for like, okay, what's the reason for all this? Since I don't have that briefcase full of $1 million to look at, I have this instead. I have the visualized end goal, and my brain sees that and goes, okay, yeah, that's a good thing. Let's work towards that. Now, again, this is consistently every day, every night. It might seem like a lot to ask to do. I'm supposed to say all this stuff. I'm supposed to make all these affirmations every day, every night. But listen, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you to do anything. I'm telling you what will help you if you want to do it. So it all comes down to how bad do you want this. If changing your life is worth it to you, then saying some affirmations first thing in the morning and right before bed might be the lowest hanging fruit to get you to really change your life. And the last thing that I want to say goes right off of that. The last step in building a habit of creating certainty is to control your life through standards. And by standards, I mean commitment. Exactly that. It's not about I say affirmations. I say my affirmations every morning and every night. That's the standard by which I live my life. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It's not something that you have to do, but that is the standard that I choose to live by. And because it's a standard, it's something I try to hold myself to. It's not just like something I try to do. It's not just something that would be cool. It's not something that, oh yeah, okay, I think about it and then I forget. This is the standard by which I judge myself. It's a rule. It's a fact of my life. By setting standards, by setting rules, by living to the laws that you create for yourself, it gives you, once again, something to work towards, something to hold yourself to. I'm going to try to eat healthy is different than I am going to eat a salad for dinner 5 nights a week. That is a standard that I can track. That is a metric that I know. Did I do this or did I not? And that's a way to have control, and control, again, breeds certainty. When I don't know if I hit a goal or not, it becomes very wishy-washy. Once again, I keep alluding to my other episodes. There's an entire goal-setting episode I'll link in the show notes if you haven't listened to that. SMART goals, specific, measurable. We want goals that we can measure because I want to know if I hit my goals. Having standards allows me to know that. Did I do this? Yes or no? Simple. Check box answers. Can I check off, yes, I did this, or no, I didn't? I want to know with certainty, did that happen? Because that gives me certainty to move forward. It allows me to commit because I'm knowing, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. And I need that. So just to recap, in order to build the habit daily, weekly, monthly of creating certainty allowing us to be consistent, consistency allowing us to create certainty. They're two hands that wash each other. We need to stand in your decision. Choose what is going to happen. Make a decision. You need to look, see, and say your goals daily. Look at, see, and say your goals out loud. Ideally, you write them somewhere where you can see them and you read them out loud. If you want to rewrite them in a journal, whatever you want to do, the exact details aren't important. If you want to type them, that's fine. But you need to be going over them daily. You need to feel it through to the end. Visualize the end goal as if it were happening already. And speak about it and believe it and feel it and show your brain this is what we're working towards. This is the thing that we're going to get. This is how I'm going to feel when I'm there. And then lastly, set standards for yourself. Set rules. Live by them, because that will build certainty into your life. If I'm wishy-washy, there is no certainty. That leaves room for doubt. Doubt cannot exist in the same place as certainty. When the littlest amount of doubt creeps in, all certainty goes out the window. We need certainty. We need trust. We need faith. So, for your action steps for today, as soon as this podcast is over, unless you're driving, my challenge to you is to write out a set of affirmations that you can repeat to yourself daily, rewrite, and or hang somewhere in your room where you will see them every single day. I don't care if it looks silly. I don't care if you feel like you're being judged by your partner or your friends who come over. This is more important than that. If you are wanting to get this goal, whatever it is, and if you're listening this far, I think that this is important to you, then this is worth doing. And as a bonus challenge, I would like you to take a picture of these affirmations, of your sticky notes, of them on your computer or your bathroom mirror or wherever you put them, or if it's in your journal, take a picture. You don't have to show me the exact actual affirmations, but take a picture and upload it to social media and tag me. Or if you want to do it in private, send me a DM on Instagram or in my private Facebook group, because we share these things all the time. So this is the easiest thing you can do. If this is something that you are refusing to do, then you might want to reassess your commitment to this goal. Because if asking you to write a few affirmations down is too much for you, then do you really want this? Do you really want the change if simply writing a few words down and speaking them to yourself is too much to ask? Think about that. All right. I hope that this podcast helped. I hope that you have been able to understand the importance of creating and developing certainty. And I hope that this has brought some clarity around what might be holding you back and some ways that you can get around these pitfalls in the future.
That's it for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode or got value from it, you can support the show by sharing it with a friend and giving them the gift of a happier, healthier life. You can also leave a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That helps boost the show on those platforms so more people can discover it and we can all grow together. I'll see you back here every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy.